Hi everybody, today for Murder, Makeup, and Mystery, we are going to be talking about the case of Angie Barlow. Old, born in 1993 in Denver, Colorado. After Angie had grown up a little bit and her parents had grown older, they decided to move from Denver to Indianapolis, Indiana. Moved to Indianapolis. Angie was more of age. She decided instead of a regular job, she took interest in being a dancer. It was said that Angie was known to be very stubborn, very outgoing, very just lovable and courageous. But some of the girls at the club didn't think, particularly one girl, and her name was Raven. Angie was the kind of dancer that did private parties, which are events booked outside the club. Clubs usually don't promote you to do these type of events because obviously, unless you hire your own security, nobody is there to watch you and monitor you and basically just make sure you're safe and not being taken advantage of, because there is some creeps out here in this world. Angie was dancing at Club Rio, and I'm from Indiana. I actually live like 45 minutes away from Indianapolis. And if you know, Club Rio is not that good of a club, and there's always a lot of trouble there. That's where everybody goes to start their professional dancer career. So let's fast forward a little bit. One night, Angie is hanging out with her best friend, Mona, and she gets a text from a unknown number asking her if she would do a private party. The person who texted her never stated how they got her contact information, any other things people who are usually booking any type of event or service would usually address when they first call. They did not say any of it. So Angie's friend Mona was like, "Girl, I don't think you should do this booking. This just doesn't sound right." But Angie's like, "Girl, it's fine. I need the money. I'm gonna do this." They're texting Angie, giving her the address, which was a gated in apartment complex. So they are texting her, giving her the code to get in, and telling her, "Do you have anything red or black to wear? That's what we would like you to wear. We can match." So at this point, she should have had kind of a clue that maybe it was another. The Friday of the party arrives finally, and she sends a screenshot to her best friend and tells her, "Here is the apartment complex and the information where I will be at just in case I go missing." And this wasn't unnormal for Angie to do. She texted Mona this type of information and joked, if you would say, every time she booked a private event, just because the world is how the world is. So once Angie arrives to this event, she is met with a huge shock at the door. This is actually Raven and Baron, which is Raven's boyfriend's private party. This is a huge red flag, and her friends and family said that if she would have knew prior to this event, she would not have taken it, which means they believe that there was a third person who made Angie feel welcomed enough to come into the apartment. Time flies by, and the next morning comes, and Angie has not arrived home. And Mona said as soon as Angie's mom told her this, she was instantly met with an uneasy feeling, because this was so unlike Angie and not something Angie would do. So 2 weeks go by, and no good or bad news. But then police find Angie's car wrecked and just completely trashed. And her best friend Mona gave the address to the apartment. And when they went to the apartment to see who was leasing the apartment, it was Raven and her boyfriend Baron. Boom, huge shocker. Her best friend knew there was no way she was doing a party with this particular girl. Raven proceeds to tell the police Yes, she did a private party here, but she left around 3 a.m. with some random guy, and we have no idea where she went. Angie's whole family knew something was up at this point because this is not how Angie would have left her car at all. Plus, there was no sign of Angie. So the police asked her family, well, do you guys know where she was that night? Also, police tracked a random number that was texting Angie, and it came back to Raven. Now everybody just has a feeling that something bad has happened to Angie, and they're not far off from wrong. So a little bit more time goes by, and they decide to get a warrant for the cameras of the apartment complex because, like I stated at the beginning, this was a gated community, which means you had to have a code to get in and out, which means there was security. Specifically, cameras. They go to run the cameras back, and they see Angie's car leaving and a black car following right behind her car. I mean, like directly on her tail. And so they're trying to zoom in and see who is driving these cars, but they can't because each car is tinted so well. So they run the license plates of the black car to see who was following her, and it was none other than Raven and her boyfriend. So the police go back and ask Raven and her boyfriend, why were you guys following her when she left at 3:40 a.m.? And they say, it wasn't us. It was the guy we let use our car that she left with. Police is calling their bluff at this time, but they don't have enough evidence to state that Raven and her boyfriend actually did anything to Angie. So they have to let them go. If you guys didn't do nothing to this girl, why are y'all fleeing? So Angie's family and friends, even the workers at the club, are like, this is a huge red flag. Like, they are tripping out. So a little bit of time goes past, and the police receive an anonymous call stating that there is a body behind this house that Raven's boyfriend's family was renting, and this is where the police can find Angie's body. The police asked this anonymous caller, well, how do you guys know this? They said, because they paid me to put the body back there. The police go back there, and they discover the body of 23-year-old Angie Barlow. They is trying to track Raven and her boyfriend down at this point, but they have no luck. And also, they still don't have enough evidence to arrest them, even though they had this tip. Like, how crazy is that? Like, what do you need? His family said this was a huge slap in the face from the police department, because when they called her to come identify her daughter's body, she had to come and identify her daughter's body through pictures. The composition was so bad, like, you just couldn't really not tell. But there was little features that Angie had left of her that you were able to identify. So her mom said you could literally smell the decomposition from how long her daughter had been outside. She said the pictures were awful. You could tell her daughter was tortured, beat, just overall viciously killed by somebody who obviously hated her. Raven and her boyfriend basically got off scotch-free and never faced a punishment due to lack of evidence. While Angie's family is grieving, hoping that these monsters will be caught, Raven drops a song about Angie and her mom. I'll put the link to the song in here. Like, how sick can you be? This family is grieving and you're rapping about their daughter. My women who are dancers, stay safe and watch those ladies in the club. Because also, to anybody in Marion County, Indianapolis, Indiana, if you know anything about Angie Barlow's murder, or you can help her family get the justice that they need, that they actually deserve, you can go ahead and call the number that I'm going to list and ask to speak to the detective on the case and help them get that justice. You guys stay safe out there. And thanks for watching Makeup, Murder, and